Do you believe an unintended consequence of NIL is coaches being on the hot seat faster than ever before? This is a really good question. For example, will those boosters at A&M stand for spending that amount of money on NIL for more 8-4 seasons? Well, Bill, Jimbo said NIL has nothing to do with it, and so we're going to leave it at that. We're going to speak very generically. I think the answer to this is yes. I think it's absolutely going to change the timetable with which success is expected to happen. But, Bill, that's not the only thing that's happening here. You have got to work transfer portal in. So think about NIL and the transfer portal as just kind of conjoined within the aspect of how coaches are viewed now. Here's what I mean by that. If you're Lincoln Riley and you're hired at USC and you're inheriting a program under Clay Helton that it wasn't operating at peak efficiency, we all understand that. Let's be real. So in 1997, if you were to inherit that program, the going theology would be, okay, we're going to give you a couple, 3 years before we really hold you to the SC standard. Well, these days, you have NIL, true, but what else do you have at your disposal? What is Lincoln Riley leveraging even as we speak in Southern California? He is leveraging the transfer portal, capital T, capital P. And so when you combine the portal and the ability to do what USC has done, and that is bring in, I think the last count was 17 kids. I have to keep track because it changes by the day. When you can flip that large a chunk of your roster before you've ever even coached a game, then yes, it absolutely is going to expedite the timetable of expectations that your fan base has. No longer, including Brian Kelly, including Brent Venables, including Lincoln Riley, no longer is a coach going to be able to walk in and meet with boosters and meet with donor groups all across the state and stand in front of them behind a podium and say, I look forward to 2 or 3 years where we can really get a viable product on the field for you. That's not going to fly anymore. And here's what's really going to ruin it. It's not even as bad as it's going to get yet, because no one's won a conference championship in year one under this era yet. But you mark my words, I think this is going to be the year, actually. It could be Venables, it could be Lincoln Riley, it could be Billy Napier for all I know. One of these first-year head coaches is going to have hit the portal just right, and the schedule and bounces of balls are going to work out just right to where they go to a conference championship and maybe even win it in year one. That example, although it should be an outlier to anyone with common sense, will be used against new head coaches until the end of time, and it will be held up as this example of what's possible and therefore what you should be capable of. If Lincoln Riley did this at USC in year one, if Brian Kelly did this, if whoever, I'm filling the blank, if whoever did this at whatever program in year one, you should be able to do it. That's going to happen. If not this year, it's eventually going to happen. So that's a matter of when, not if. And then it's really going to get uncomfortable. Now, as you know, microwave mentality doesn't really work as a viable long-term approach to success, but there's a large enough group of people out there who believe if you throw enough money at something, then you can just artificially enhance expectations and it makes sense. Well, that's not reality, but yet it is reality. That's the way it's going to be, whether it should be that way or not.